Good evening YouTube, my name is Yusuf and you are watching another episode of my space weather news. Looking at the solar wind, we can clearly see that there was an impact of the Southern Coronal Hole. Solar wind stream forming this coronal hole has reached us and we can see the impact. So the BZ in red tilted south, and this has sparked many auroras. Looking at the density, it is higher than what has been forecasted. In fact, Enlil did not forecast this at all. There was a mild increase forecasted. This is of course wrong. And the solar wind speed was forecasted to stay at 300 kilometers a second, as shown over here. However, it actually increased to almost 600 kilometers a second and then decreased. This prompts me to believe that this could have been a co-rotating interaction region, because this is usually the signature: slow moving solar wind speed, then a sudden increase, and then it slows again like it was in the beginning. But I'm not 100% sure if it was actually a shock from a co-rotating interaction region, but it could be. Anyway, the BZ tilted southwards, and this means, of course, more likelihood of geomagnetic storms. And indeed, we reached a KP6. This means there was a geomagnetic storm level 2, and only a KP5 was forecasted. So the Enlil simulation slightly wrong, both and the Space Prediction Center. Looking at other stations, we see this again. But here is the most interesting part, the magnetosphere. Now let me just go to around midnight, when the initial impact happened, I should say. So there it is. In fact, let me go backwards, because it happens slightly before midnight. So let's go a few hours back. Now the thing that caught my attention, that when the solar wind started hitting our magnetosphere, there was like a weird connection. And as I move forward to midnight, you will see this more clearly. See? Now it becomes absolutely visible. This is a connection between the bow shock and the inner electron belt, the Van Allen belts, which is basically this region over here, within the closed field lines. So this is actually the streamer belt, as they call it, and this basically trapped electrons in our inner magnetic field within the closed field lines. So when we move on, we see this connection. And in my position, it has caused the strange anomaly that follows. This happens, of course, when the BZ tilted southward. So there's always a stronger magnetic field when that happens, of the solar wind, which points then in the opposite direction of our planet. And they have different polarities, meaning that's like positive and negative, if I may give an analogy. And so this is when the interaction is the biggest. So the magnetopause collapses almost to geosynchronous orbit, as we have seen before. Let's go back to the same. Let me just do that another time. Let's just move on with this. And it's not just compressing. Here briefly it decompresses, only to get compressed again. But then the weirdness happens, and look, we have again like this connection. See, and at times it becomes really apparent. Here it is very clear. Although the magnetopause isn't really close to geosynchronous orbit, we can actually see it connected to that inner electron belt. And then of course it deforms, and we can see again clearly two connections. This, I don't see this often. This is really strange. And in my opinion, this is being caused simply, all the weirdness that we are seeing in these magnetosphere simulations, by collapsing Van Allen belts. I think today we have seen the proof of this. Now the situation normalizes, as you can see, around 7 in the morning. So if you want to view this yourself, the timestamp that you're looking for is the 1st, of course, today, and start with midnight, and so work your way until you arrive at 7 in the morning, because then this anomaly sort of ends. And I will show this again here. So I'm going to go straight to, let's just say 4 in the morning. This is when really strange things happen. Before I do this, take a good look at the shape. This is how the Van Allen belts are supposed to be. Take a close look at the closed field lines, especially the ones that are at the bow shock at the front, because those are the ones connecting actually to the bow shock. And when that happens, see what's happening? They start to collapse almost entirely. And this collapse continues as you can see over here. It almost completely disappears. Take a look at this at the back side. All the closed field lines are like at the back side, not at the front anymore. The anomaly continues. It persists. Again, at the back side, all the closed field lines, nothing at the front, because the connection between the bow shock, as we have seen, and this electron belt happens at the front, not at the back. Then around 7, there it is. Surprise, surprise. We see it back coming to normal, and everything becomes normal. So what could be causing this? The collapse, well, several things can do this. Weakened magnetic field, but also actually could be human intervention. Once NASA drained actually the electron belt with a tether. I remember this, reading this, but I'm also convinced that this can also be caused by ionospheric heaters and such. Weather manipulation can do this. So it could either be natural of origin or artificial. Maybe we are the cause of what's happening to our magnetic field. Who knows? The Schuman resonance shows a significant spike. This is normal. Earth took a hit and the magnetopause collapsed, so there's energy that poured in, and this leaves a signature, a very strong signature in the Schuman resonance. This is important because it affects mental and physical health, as it operates in the same frequencies as the human body. There is something in the CME tracker that I want to show. A couple of fast moving, don't know if this can be called a CME. As you can see, this is suddenly an outburst in a limited region of solar wind. Could be caused by a sunspot which is hidden after the solar disk. I don't know what could be causing this, but this is rather interesting because it moves very quickly, very fast. There is still earthquake activity going on in Iceland. We have a 4.9 today, so this is ongoing, and I'm pretty sure one of these days a volcano will erupt in this particular regions in the Reykjanes peninsula, but we'll have to see. So this is the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and most of all, don't forget to subscribe. This is very important. This way you won't miss any of my future videos. And we will end this by citing a philosophical quote, as usual. I think we are at 21. Yes, the greatest hero is one who has control over his desires. This is very straightforward. A person that doesn't control himself is likely to do some very stupid things in his life. Okay, this is it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I guess we see each other next time. Be safe, everyone. Bye bye.